Hi clarinet fans, Kathy Williams-Devries here, bringing you a tutorial on the Rondo by Henry Purcell. Now a quick glance at Rondo. It's a musical form. The Rondo that you're probably most familiar with, sort of from the classical period, is like A, B, A, C, A, D, A. And it's not so different here. This piece is very dance-like. I think there's a very strong sort of 3/4 dance rhythm. And also it says here that the medieval poetic form Rondo, which contains repetitions of a couplet separated by longer section of poetry, was then brought into musical form. So the first theme is and that's repeated. Now you have a different theme. Then the theme comes back. Now you have the C theme. Then the DC brings it back to the first theme, A. And then you don't repeat it once you hit the theme A. So we've got an A, theme B, theme A, theme C, back to theme A. So just a couple of things: a moderato, moderate tempo, not too fast, not too slow cantabile in a singing style, and you have sort of dynamics that grow to MF by the middle of the phrase. They start at piano, go to MF, and then back down to piano at the end of phrase. Now, clarinet-wise, this little piece is challenging because you're going across the break all the time. Now, what I find is that if you're going anywhere from a G to a B flat up to sort of over the break to B and C, you can actually keep fingers down. There's such things as resonance fingerings. Probably not something you want to do right at the moment, although what you can do is hold some fingers down. It doesn't make enough of a difference to the sound like it would if you played it with an F sharp. So if I go, there's not a lot of difference, maybe a few cents in pitch. So what I would do is just keep my right hand down through all of the first phrase. See how much easier? You're only moving sort of the top hand rather than, which takes a certain amount of agility. And see how much easier that second bar of the second line is. See how few fingers you have to raise And actually you can almost keep down a lot of the right hand as well. I mean, if I was playing with resonance fingerings, which for me is usually this for an A, then you can see I'm hardly moving any fingers at all. So let's now move on to the B theme after the Fine. Now, if it is possible, think of this as a slightly darker theme. We're actually sort of moving more into a little bit of E minor, because the first phrase is very much G major. The second phrase before in the second half of the phrase sort of going back to G major. So the second part, now this is where you can't, these first two bars after the Fine are where you can't hold fingers down, because there's way too much effect on the pitch. So keep the fingers sort of hovering over the keys, but don't actually press any down. Now you notice I did use a resonance fingering there. I mean, I'm just so conditioned to doing that now. But notice I raised the fingers to hit the E. And here you can leave fingers down, but not for the F sharp. So now, in the Baroque period, the rules for what note to start on in a trill were slightly different, sort of past the mid-classical period. In the time of Bach and Handel and Purcell, a trill started on the note above. So if you've got a trill on an F sharp, and you can actually make it into a little bit of a leaning note or an appoggiatura to add a little bit of spice to it. So so you can play with a little bit there. So that this second theme before going back to the main theme. So now what I'll do is I'll play from the beginning, and you can see how I darkened the sound slightly in the second B theme, because it's moving into the minor. So the first phrase, and you can even make the second the repeat of the phrase a little bit quieter. Now we move on to the minor. And now the main phrase. Now you will notice that it is slightly different from bar 21, whereas when the first time we played the theme it was all slurred, it is now two slurred, two tongued. So it goes from so now you may find it quite difficult to get those notes out tongued, especially because you can tend to get a slight sort of th undertone. But the way to help that is take the note E and play a really nice legato, a really nice held note. Get a good sound, and then gradually introduce the tongue as light as you can. And notice that at no stage do I stop the air. A lot of support from here. It's like you're the bag of a bagpipe. You note that it's always sort of inflated. I do have longer videos on this subject. Now, the C theme is very much minor this time, and you can tell because you've got a D sharp in there. And again, the similar sort of the, what I would do, especially when it comes to but again, I have videos on that. So we're up to mezzo piano, very much into the minor. So here, so practice that slowly. So that in the end, before the DC, which stands for da capo, which means goes back to the beginning. So the C theme. Then we go back to the beginning. Do a little bit of a ritardando in there as well. So I'm going to play the whole piece for you now. And really pulse the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Imagine you're dancing to it. And that's the Rondo by Henry Purcell for you. So if you found this video helpful, fantastic. Any further questions, don't hesitate to leave constructive comments or to email me at iCloud. So thanks for listening. Bye for now.